Hey, I hope your day is going great. This part of the video is kind of like a disclaimer because I get a lot of people on social media, Facebook, Instagram, not so much on YouTube, but whenever I post a picture of our tomatoes, I get a lot of people asking me why there's no leaves or why there's no branches coming off of the tomatoes. And I did a video about this once before. More of the explanation as to why I do this is it more has to do with the setup of our farm. It doesn't have to do with this is the right answer, this is the exact way you're supposed to prune tomatoes. So what I do, and I've learned this by seeing experienced market gardeners do the same thing, and I've had the best experience with it. So right now we are in my hoop house, greenhouse, whatever you'd like to call it, my homemade greenhouse. And if you notice, as you come down, we don't have any leaves on the bottom of my tomato plants. You can really tell with the cherry tomatoes. And then down here with some of the brandywines and Amana oranges, you can also see that I take off a lot of the branches at the bottom. Now, those branches are important branches. They're there to absorb the sunlight, absorb moisture, and all the things that are very important for these tomato plants to live. However, the way I'm set up and the way I have 10 tomato plants going down the center of my small, short, 20-foot long hoop house, I need to have as much airflow in here. I need to have as much space between these tomato plants as possible. If I have these tomato plants filled with branches and leaves coming out, what's going to end up happening is if one of the tomato plants gets a disease, gets early blight, gets any kind of pressure as far as pests are concerned, it has a chance to pop over to the plant next to it. And I've had whole seasons where my entire tomato crop dies. All the plants die due to the fact that one of the plants ended up getting a disease. So this is the reason why I do it. It's called hard pruning, and I saved a few up here for you to see, for me to, once again, as the plant grows. I'm going to show you this real quick, very carefully. This plant right here starts in the ground, and it winds all the way up to here. And as you notice, I'm gonna have to drop this down again. These spools right here can be purchased from Johnny's Select Seeds, but in the process of this, I'm going to show you what I need to get rid of. This right here, in my previous videos, I told you guys about it, and if you remember, these are called suckers. And as a matter of fact, I've missed 2 of them. There's one right here too I need to get rid of. So these are not needed with a hard prune. Hard pruning, we take these off. Just rock it back and forth, and they come off rather easily. Okay. Now, I'm going to come up to the next one. Now, if I was to leave these, this would cause another whole shoot coming off of the tomato plant, and what that would cause would be a lot of the nutrients to be shared. So the nutrients coming out of the ground, water being soaked up through the roots, everything that is important for this tomato plant to grow, it would have to share those nutrients, the water and all that good stuff, with that shoot. So I take it off, and the reason I do it is I already mentioned the airflow through here, but the main reason is I want all the energy to go to the single stem. So this is called hard pruning to a single stem. Okay, once again, not the answer. I only do this because it suits my style of farming, my style of gardening in here in this hoop house. Now I also do it out, and I'll come out here real quick to what I call my earth garden, and you'll notice a big difference with the tomatoes. Okay, they are significantly smaller, but as you notice, I've also pruned them to a single stem. That's a sucker. I'm going to remove it. It's so funny how you can just tell the difference between the plants that are exposed to the elements every day. So my outdoor, some people would call these field tomatoes. I don't call them field tomatoes because I'm still pruning them to a single stem. These are a lot more hardy. The stems are thicker. It's harder to break off. Ooh, yeah, that water feels good. It's harder to break off the suckers. But I also can't control a lot of the elements out here. Right now I'm watering solely to take some of the heat off of all of our plants right now. Cucumbers in the cage right here, and my, what I call, you could call them field tomatoes, but I'm still trellising them. You can see they're significantly further behind, but I'm getting tomatoes on them. As you can see, some of them are popping out. So this is what happens over here when you don't prune to a single stem. I failed. I did this as an experiment, but I didn't trellis these tomatoes up at all, and you can see what happens. This is one tomato plant with all these stems coming off of it. I did not trellis it. I didn't even put it in a tomato cage. So these are all branches coming off of a single tomato plant. To summarize, my method of pruning my tomato plants is called a hard prune. I'm pruning to one lead stem. I want that one lead stem to continue growing up. I've trellised them to these spools that you can buy from Johnny Seeds. They're very inexpensive and they last years. This is my third season using these same exact spools. They have plenty of line to run out on, okay? Days like this, things just had to get done. Did I want to come out here and do stuff? Nope. But guys, this is what it's about being a farmer. You know, you have to get out and do things on days when you don't even feel like getting out and doing things. You got to do it in order for the, especially this time of year. If you neglect your garden or your farm for one day, you could get out there and it could be a hot mess. And it would, you know, neglecting it for one day might add, you know, 5 or 6 hours onto your work another day. So you got to get out here and do this. All right, one more thing I got to talk about real quick. It's a cool story. One year, I think this was last season, out of our compost grew a few things. One of the things that grew were these amazing melons. They were absolutely amazing. Real small melon-like fruits. They were yellow, striped with like white stripes on them. So I had no clue what they were. I did a little bit of research, and the only thing I could find online was the fact that they were called Korean melons. And so I waited for them to mature, get to a certain size, and then I cut a few off and ate them. The taste coming from these melons was so sweet. Imagine a extra sweet honeydew mixed with a pear. That's the only way I can explain it. So what I did, I looked at Janine and I said, you know, I'm not a big seed saver, but I'm saving these seeds. There's no way I can go without without growing these. So this season popped up, and I totally forgot about them. However, I was searching through my seed bank and looking through all my bags of seeds, and I found the Ziploc bag labeled Korean melon seeds. And if you follow my videos, it's probably 4 or 5 weeks ago, I decided just to start a whole flat of these Korean melons. And man, they rocked off. They took off like crazy, man. Cool thing about these Korean melons is they vine just like cucumbers. So in some of the areas where I'm growing things, I'm literally vining these Korean melons up. So I'm gonna show you them real quick. I just planted a ton right here in my raised bed. So right here are the Korean melon starts. I just planted these. Let me see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Got 12 Korean melons planted there. Let's come up here real quick. Man, I'm drenched. We got 4 more planted here where the broccoli used to be. 4 more planted there. So that's 20. We have 20 Korean melons. Oh, by the way, Arlo's so proud of this. Check this out. We grew a watermelon. That's out of Arlo's garden. Yeah, so we're wrapping up today's amazing heat adventures out in the farm. So another thing that we are doing is checking out our chickens. They're not laying yet, but check them out. I brought out some ice water and some water for them to get into because they are hot right now. I know I was a little bit all over the place. It's kind of just like a farm update today. Definitely hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm hoping that you guys continue to like the videos, subscribe to the channel, and if there's any content you want to see, make sure you let me know. All right, guys. See you later.